A child learns to love by watching how their parents love each other. So what happens when love is laced with suspicion? From the outside, the Morgan family looked picture perfect. A lovely two-story suburban house nestled between maple trees, a minivan in the driveway, and a dog named Max, who barked enthusiastically at every passerby. But inside, the air was thick with words never spoken, and glances held too long, or not long enough. Love did not live here freely, not anymore. Melissa and Daniel Morgan had been married for 18 years. They had 3 children, Noah, 17, Lily, 14, and little Maisie, 8. And each of them had learned, in their own way, how to tiptoe around the tension that lingered in every room like a stubborn smell. But the tension wasn't born from abuse, or money problems, or some explosive event. It was born from a slow, creeping erosion of trust between Melissa and Daniel, a kind of distrust that settled into the walls and echoed in every argument, even the ones that weren't about them. No one in the Morgan household ever said the word cheating, but it loomed large between the couple like a shadow. Years ago, Daniel had come home late one too many times. Melissa had found a receipt in his coat pocket for a hotel she didn't recognize. When she confronted him, his answer came too quickly, too rehearsed. A business meeting. Client was traveling. Melissa didn't believe him, but she never found proof. She never caught him in a lie. And Daniel? He swore she grew colder after that, more controlling. She began checking things, his phone, his emails, his calendar. She started calling him at odd times, asking, "Where are you?" with the brittle sweetness of someone barely containing panic. In response, Daniel grew secretive, not because he had something to hide, but because he couldn't stand the implication that he did. And so the cycle continued. Suspicion, defensiveness, withdrawal. And then there were the kids. Noah had grown up with a quiet sensitivity that he tried to bury under a layer of sarcasm and distance. But he saw everything, heard more than they thought he did. He started lying early, harmless things at first, saying he didn't need help with school when he did, pretending he was fine when he wasn't, because every time he had a problem, it somehow became a fight between his parents. The fights weren't loud, they were surgical, clinical, like watching 2 surgeons operate on each other without anesthesia. "He gets that from your side of the family," Melissa would mutter when Noah got a B instead of an A. "Oh, I'm sorry," Daniel would snap back. Maybe if you weren't smothering him with your expectations, he could breathe. Eventually, Noah just stopped bringing home problems. He carried the weight of being the oldest, the referee, the fixer, until one day he snapped and screamed at his parents in the middle of dinner, "You hate each other more than you love us." They didn't deny it. At 14, Lily had learned that eye contact was a dangerous thing. Too much of it, and you were challenging. Too little, and you were sullen. She had mastered the art of neutral expressions and short answers. She also learned something dangerous from watching her mother, how to weaponize distrust. Lily began secretly checking her boyfriend's phone, not because he gave her a reason to, but because she had grown up believing that love was about being afraid. Afraid they'd leave, afraid they were lying. When Melissa found out, Lily had slapped her boyfriend for talking to another girl. The lecture that followed was surreal. "You don't own people," Melissa said, "but you check Dad's phone all the time." Melissa flinched, visibly. She didn't answer. Maisie didn't understand much of what was going on. She was still young enough to sleep with a nightlight and believe in fairies, but she was not too young to sense the emotional temperature of the house. She asked Lily once, "Why doesn't Mommy smile when Daddy talks?" And once, while playing with her dolls, Maisie had one say to the other, "Don't lie, or Daddy will sleep on the couch again." No one told her to say that. She just knew. It all came to a head one rainy Thursday. Noah had been suspended from school for punching a classmate. The boy had made a joke about Noah's daddy issues. Melissa was called to the principal's office. When Daniel showed up 20 minutes later, she was furious. "You should have been here already," she hissed. "I was in a meeting," he said. "It was important." "What's more important than your son getting suspended?" Noah stood between them, blood still drying on his knuckles, and saw it all happen, his mistake becoming their battlefield. "What did you expect? He sees what goes on at home. Daniel said. Oh, so now it's my fault he threw a punch. They weren't fighting about Noah anymore. They were fighting about everything else. Always. That night, Noah packed a bag and left, not with a dramatic slam of the door, just left. He texted Lily, staying at Cam's. Tell them whatever. Melissa cried. Daniel didn't. Instead, he said, you pushed him. And she said, no, you made this house unlivable. And nothing after that made a sound. The next day, Melissa made a call she'd avoided for years. Family therapy, for all of us. Daniel scoffed. Now? After everything? We're losing them, Daniel. He looked at her, really looked, for the first time in years, and realized she wasn't angry. She was terrified. So was he. They sat their kids down. We're going to try therapy, Melissa said. Not just for us, for you too. Lily looked suspicious. Noah didn't respond. Maisie just asked if the therapist had toys, but something shifted in the air. Not forgiveness, not hope, but a pause, a chance. Trust doesn't die with a bang. It erodes, like wind against stone. Rebuilding it takes time, and mortar made of raw honesty. In the weeks that followed, the Morgans sat in a circle once a week and learned to say the things they'd swallowed for years. And beneath the rubble of suspicion and bitterness, something began to grow. Not peace, not yet, but possibility. Part 2, Sessions of Silence. The therapy office smelled like herbal tea and lavender oil, somewhere between a spa and a bookstore. Soft music played in the background, and the walls were lined with serene prints of trees, oceans, and mountain landscapes. The effect was intentional, disarming, a stark contrast to the Cold War the Morgans had waged at home for years. They were 10 minutes early. Melissa sat rigidly beside Daniel on the faded leather couch, her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles blanched. Daniel was scrolling his phone absently, legs crossed at the ankle like he couldn't care less, but his eyes flicked to the clock every 30 seconds. Lily sat in the farthest chair from them, earbuds in, pretending she couldn't hear Melissa's whisper, asking her to take them out. Noah hadn't come. He's not ready, Melissa had said when she told the therapist. We'll come. The younger two. Noah said maybe next time. Maisie twirled on the therapist's plush blue rug, singing under her breath. She was only 8, and so far, therapy felt like a play date with a very quiet adult who smiled too much. Then the door opened. Dr. Alina Sayers was in her 40s, dressed in earth tones, hair tied in a loose braid that trailed over her shoulder. She had the kind of face that always looked like it had just forgiven you. Welcome, Morgans, she said warmly. Come in. Let's make this space ours. The first session was clumsy. Melissa spoke first, launching into a rehearsed monologue about why they were there, glossing over the affair accusation that had never been proven, glossing over the surveillance and suspicion, focusing instead on communication issues and emotional disconnection. Daniel rolled his eyes once, just once, but Alina noticed. And how do you feel hearing that, Daniel? I feel like I'm on trial. Again, Melissa flinched. No one's on trial, Alina said gently. We're not here to assign blame. We're here to learn how to speak and listen differently. Lily said nothing the whole session. Her eyes were fixed on a poster behind Alina's head that read, Feelings are just visitors. Let them come and go. Maisie asked if the dollhouse in the corner was just for decoration, or if she could play with it. They drove home in silence. That night, Melissa stood outside Noah's door with her hand on the knob. She didn't knock, just stood there, listening to him type something on his keyboard. The faint click-clack like a Morse code she couldn't decipher. I told her I'm not going, he said at breakfast the next day. Melissa looked tired. You could just sit in. You don't have to talk. I don't want to watch you two pretend. Daniel bristled. We're not pretending. Noah smiled darkly. Okay. It was Lily who said something that afternoon, quietly, without looking up from her phone. I liked the therapist's voice. It was slow, calming, not like here. Melissa's heart did something strange in her chest. Hope, maybe, or fear. The second session, Noah came. He didn't sit on the couch. He dragged a beanbag from the corner and flopped down like a statue. When Alina asked why he was there, he shrugged. Because my mom's paying for it. Melissa winced. Do you believe this is going to help? Alina asked. Noah stared at the ceiling. Number, but I guess I can watch you try. Maisie colored in a feelings chart while the adults spoke. Lily sat with her knees pulled to her chest, headphones around her neck, tapping her thumbs against her jeans in perfect rhythm. Alina guided them through a simple exercise. Say something you need from the person next to you. Melissa turned to Daniel. I need you to tell me the truth, even if you think it will hurt me. Daniel looked at her, his jaw tightening. I need you to stop assuming I'm lying every time I say something you don't like. Alina paused, then gently added, and now say what you heard, not what you felt. Melissa looked confused. I heard him say, I'm too suspicious. Number, try again. He said he needs you to stop assuming he's lying. Melissa repeated the sentence, this time, word for word. Lily whispered under her breath, this is so fake, but her shoulders dropped just a little. Back home, Daniel cooked dinner. It was pasta. Easy, neutral, safe. He reached for the parmesan and caught Melissa watching him. He hesitated. What? Nothing, she said. Just, thanks for cooking. His eyes softened, and he said, it's just pasta. But later, she saw him Google homemade carbonara. On the third session, Alina split them into groups. Kids with her, parents in a different room. Melissa resisted. Shouldn't we do this together? Sometimes children need a space without their parents. Sometimes parents need to talk without feeling watched. Daniel muttered, it's not the kids who are watching. Melissa didn't reply. In the children's room, Maisie built a castle out of blocks and named it the house where no one yells. Alina asked Noah what he would change if he could. I'd move out. Lily laughed. Same. Alina turned to Lily. What would home feel like if it was safe? Lily thought. Like quiet, but not tense quiet. The soft kind. The kind when you're just sitting with someone, and it's okay. Alina smiled gently. Do you remember the last time it felt like? Neither of them answered. That night, Lily left a note on Melissa's nightstand. It read, don't ask me about this. Just read. Beneath the note was a printed screenshot of a conversation between her and a friend. It described a time Daniel had missed her middle school play because of a work emergency, but the friend had seen him at a bar with a woman who wasn't Melissa. Melissa read it once, twice. Then she folded it and tucked it back into the envelope. She didn't cry, just turned off the lamp. The next morning, she asked Daniel, did you have drinks with someone named Maya 3 years ago? He froze. Where is this coming from? Just answer the question. He looked her in the eye. Yes, it wasn't what you think. She was a co-worker and I needed just yes or no. Yes. Melissa nodded. Okay. It wasn't okay, but it was a crack. And cracks let light in. In the next session, Alina introduced something new. The talking stone. Whoever held it got to speak. No interruptions, no eye rolls, no sighs. Noah thought it was childish, but took it anyway. I feel like I'm the parent sometimes, he said. Like I'm holding everyone together, and it's exhausting. He passed the stone to Lily. I feel like I'm invisible unless I mess up. Melissa held it. I feel like I'm drowning in my own marriage, and I keep pulling my kids under with me. Daniel's hand shook when he took the stone. I feel like I don't know who I am in this family anymore. Maisie took the stone last. I feel like nobody laughs at home. They all stared at her. She blinked, then added, except when Daddy made the spaghetti explode that one time. And for the first time in months, they laughed, just a little. Week after week, small shifts began. Daniel asked Melissa how her day was. She answered. Melissa began writing again, short journal entries, honest one. Lily told Alina she had deleted her ex's number. And no, she didn't check anyone's phone anymore. Noah returned from school one day and told Melissa he was thinking of applying for a journalism scholarship. Maisie brought a drawing to therapy. It was their family in the same house. Only everyone was smiling. She had drawn a rainbow above it, even though it wasn't raining. Then came the setback. It was dinner. Everyone was present. Melissa asked Daniel if he could take Maisie to her dentist appointment Tuesday. I have meetings all day. It's just an hour. I said I can't. Noah sighed audibly. Here we go. Lily stood up. I'm done. Daniel snapped. You're always done when you don't get your way. Melissa said, why do you always turn everything into a fight? Maisie started crying. No one noticed at first. Then she screamed, stop! They froze. Maisie's face was red, tears streaking down. You are getting better. Why are you being mean again? Melissa rushed over. Sweetheart, no, you promised. She bolted upstairs, feet thundering, door slamming. The silence afterward wasn't peaceful. It was shame. They all showed up to therapy that week. Maisie wore her princess dress. Alina sat down, looked at them all carefully. Setbacks are part of healing. What matters is how you recover. Daniel said softly, I hurt my daughter. Melissa added, we all did. Maisie looked at them, her eyes big. You promised not to yell. Alina nodded. What if, this week, the family promise is not about being perfect, but about trying again. Maisie crossed her arms. I want a new promise. Okay, Alina said. What's your promise? Maisie thought. I want everyone to say something nice about someone else. Every day, even if they're mad. Everyone nodded. And so the next morning, when Daniel made coffee, Melissa said, thank you. Noah came downstairs and muttered to Lily, cool sweatshirt. Lily blinked. Thanks. You don't have to be weird about it. Maisie handed everyone sticky notes that said, nice thing here, and giggled. It wasn't perfection, but it was something. Somewhere in that long, slow journey, Melissa and Daniel sat alone in the therapy room one evening. No kids, no distractions. Did you ever cheat on me? She asked. He didn't speak right away. Then, no, but I did things that made you think I could, and I didn't try to prove you wrong. I got tired of always feeling guilty, so I stopped caring if I looked guilty. She nodded. I stopped believing you were on my side. I started keeping score. Alina said nothing. Just let them sit in that moment. I don't know how to trust you again, Melissa whispered. I don't either, Daniel said, but I want to learn. It wasn't a resolution. It was a beginning. Outside the office, Noah and Lily waited in the car. Maisie was asleep in the back seat, mouth open, drooling onto her stuffed bunny. She looks like she's dreaming of pancakes, Noah said. Lily smiled. Do you think they'll ever be okay again? Noah started the engine. I don't know, but they're showing up. That's more than before. Lily looked at the window. Yeah, I guess that's something. In the rearview mirror, Maisie stirred and mumbled, stop yelling. But then she smiled, and the silence in the car, for once, was soft. Part 3. The House Where No One Yells. Maisie's drawing of The House Where No One Yells was taped to the fridge with a smiley face magnet. Crayons had scrawled out a wobbly 2-story house, 5 stick figures holding hands, and above it all, a crooked rainbow. Beneath the picture, in blocky letters she had asked her mom to spell, it read, this is our house, but happier. No one dared move it. Even Noah, who normally made sarcastic comments about toxic positivity, didn't say a word. He'd stared at it the longest the day Maisie posted it, like he was trying to figure out if he was supposed to feel something, or if he already did. They weren't yelling anymore. Not really. The arguments hadn't vanished, but they dulled, less like knives, more like bruises, still tender, but not bleeding. That Thursday, Melissa found Daniel in the garage, elbow deep in a dusty cardboard box labeled Xmas lights, maybe. She leaned on the doorway, arms crossed. It's October. Daniel looked up, grinning. I know, but I thought I'd test them early. You know, see if any work, or if they all mysteriously caught fire since last year. She smiled faintly. That's really early. He hesitated, then said, I thought it'd be nice. For the girls. Melissa nodded. Yeah, it would. And that was it. No digging. No why now, or what do you want? Just a moment where both of them stood in the garage, in their oldest hoodies surrounded by spiderweb boxes, and quietly agreed to try. In therapy, Alina introduced something new, family storytelling. Each of you will share a memory from childhood, she said, but not the worst one. Something ordinary, a small good moment. Noah was first. I was maybe 10. We were at the beach. I'd just learned to bodyboard, and Dad actually taught me. He didn't yell when I fell. He laughed, and then I got one wave right, and he screamed, that's my boy. I remember thinking, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Daniel's face broke into something sad and proud. Melissa wiped her eyes. She hadn't been there that weekend. She'd had food poisoning. Daniel had taken the kids alone. Lily went next. Her story was about pancakes. She was 7. Melissa let her stir the batter and add blueberries, and she spilled half the mix and cried. But Melissa kissed her forehead and said, now, they'll be the fluffiest pancakes in the world. I still think about that, Lily said. You didn't even yell. Melissa laughed. It was just batter. No, Lily said. It wasn't. Not to me. Maisie's story involved a glitter disaster and the dog, and no one could quite understand the plot. But she ended it with, then Daddy said we all sparkle sometimes, even the floor, which made everyone burst into laughter. Even Daniel. He hadn't remembered saying it. Later that night, Daniel found Noah on the porch, hoodie pulled tight, looking at the stars. You ever wonder, Daniel said, taking a seat, what would have happened if we'd done all this sooner? Noah shrugged. Sometimes, but we didn't. Do you hate us? I wanted to, for a long time. Daniel swallowed. But I'm trying to see you as people now. Messed up people, not villains. Daniel nodded slowly. That's fair. Noah looked over. Are you really trying? Daniel hesitated. Yes. And I'm scared all the time that I'll screw it up. Noah's mouth twitched. Good. You should be. But then, after a long silence, I'm scared too. Melissa was learning how to be soft again without feeling weak. Therapy had cracked her armor, and some days she missed the control, the certainty of suspicion, but letting it go, letting Daniel try, felt better than the exhausting cycles of, I know you're lying. One morning, she caught herself humming while packing Lily's lunch. Something from the radio. It took her a full minute to realize she was smiling. She looked over at Daniel reading the paper, glasses sliding down his nose, hair a mess, and for a split second, the version of him she married flickered back into focus. She turned back to the sandwich. Her hands were shaking just a little. The next session, Alina asked, "Who's still scared to hope?" No one answered. So Alina smiled and asked, "What would you say to someone in your family if you knew they wouldn't argue, wouldn't deflect, just listen?" Maisie said, "I'd tell everyone I don't like hiding in my room when you fight." Lily said, "I'd tell Dad I stopped trusting guys because of him." Daniel didn't flinch. He said, "I'd tell you, I'm trying to be someone you can trust again." Melissa's voice was quiet. "I'd tell all of you, I forgot how to love without fear, and I'm trying to remember." Noah didn't speak right away. Then, I'd say, "I don't know if we'll ever be normal, but this is better than silence." One day, Melissa received a text from Lily while at the grocery store. "What do I do if someone tells me they don't believe in love?" Melissa stared at the screen. "Tell them love isn't something you believe in, it's something you build, slowly, and sometimes you rebuild it." There was a long pause before Lily replied, "Cool, that's what I said too." Daniel showed up to Maisie's class for Parents Read Day with a book about kindness and a box of donuts. The kids cheered. Melissa brought Lily to the mall and didn't ask questions when she picked out a hoodie that said "Trust Issues" in bold pink letters. Noah sent Alina a one-line email after a session. It read, "Thanks for helping them listen." She replied, "Thanks for teaching them how." The house didn't become magic overnight. There were still slammed doors, muttered comments, moments where Daniel forgot to ask, and Melissa assumed the worst. Noah still went quiet sometimes. Lily still flinched when voices rose. Maisie still asked, "Is everyone okay?" Too often for a child. But the yelling stopped, and laughter returned, slowly, hesitantly, like a stray animal creeping toward a bowl of food left on the porch. Melissa caught Daniel humming once in the kitchen, and she smiled. Daniel walked past Lily on the stairs and said, "Nice hair." She didn't roll her eyes. Much. Noah started staying in the living room a little longer each evening, not talking, just existing. And Maisie drew a new picture, 5 stick figures again, holding hands, and this time, above the house, a real rainbow. No caption needed. It was already written in them. Part 4, Bruises and Birthdays. Lily's birthday came and went, but something lingered. In the days after, she wore the bracelet. Not every day, but sometimes. Melissa noticed, but said nothing. Daniel noticed too, and made the mistake of saying something. "Looks good on you," he said one, smiling gently as she walked past. She stopped, halfway down the stairs. "Yeah, well, I didn't wear it for you." He nodded. "I know, still." And she didn't roll her eyes. She didn't smile either, but she didn't roll her eyes. That was something. 1 week later, Noah came home late. Melissa was at the sink again, where she always seemed to end up when the house was quiet, and Daniel was reading in the living room. Maisie had fallen asleep on the couch, her head on Daniel's shoulder. Noah dropped his bag by the door. "Sorry, I'm late." Melissa turned off the tap. "Everything okay?" He hesitated. "I went to see Cam's mom. She's not doing well. Cancer." He didn't want to be alone. She nodded slowly. "Thank you for being there for him." He poured himself a glass of water and leaned against the counter. "You know, I used to think I couldn't talk to you. Either of you." Daniel looked up, careful not to speak. "But lately," Noah shrugged. "I don't know. It's easier now. Not perfect. Just easier." Daniel stood, gently laying Maisie down on the couch and covering her with a blanket. "That means more than you think." Noah gave a tired half smile. "Yeah, I figured." The next session was their last. Alina greeted them with her usual calm, but there was something different in her eyes. Pride, maybe. Or caution. "This doesn't have to be goodbye," she said. "But I think you've outgrown this space." No one spoke for a moment. Then Lily said, "So we're not broken anymore?" Alina smiled. "You were never broken. Just bruised." Maisie raised her hand. "Do bruises go away?" Alina nodded. "They do. And sometimes they remind us to be gentle with ourselves and each other." Daniel looked at his wife. Melissa met his gaze. Steady now. No yelling. No eye rolls. No accusations. Just quiet and hope. 2 weeks later, they had dinner with no background tension. Lily made a sarcastic comment. Noah shot back. Maisie spilled juice and cried, and Melissa laughed. Daniel cleaned it up without a word. Melissa kissed his cheek without hesitation. And in that moment, sticky floor, loud children, burnt garlic bread, it felt like a real family again. Not perfect, but real. Months later, Maisie's picture still hung on the fridge. Only now, it had been updated. The same stick figures, still holding hands. But this time, they weren't under a rainbow. They were under a sun. And someone had drawn speech bubbles above their heads. Each figure said the same thing, I love you. And for the first time in a long time, it felt true. Not a dream, not a performance. Just 5 people in a house where no one yelled, trying, loving, still healing, together.